What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Living Freed channel. My name is Tyler Freed, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about my future, the future of this channel, the future of my trucking career, the future of my trucking business, and I want to talk about that. And then at the end, though, I also want to talk about my experience and what I think about my time as a truck driver. I'm going to get into that. It'll make sense here in a second why I'm going to talk about that. But why do I want to make this video? Well, because I want to let my supporters, the people that really support this channel, really support me, really like following along with what I'm doing and everything in my journey. And because that's what this channel is. This channel is me documenting my journey in life, not just trucking. And and I say that because, again, it'll make sense here in a second. But that's what this channel is. It's me documenting what I'm doing and my progression through life, whether it be that I'm a truck driver, just a fleet owner that doesn't drive anymore, somebody investing in real estate, full-time, whatever. If I changed careers, I'd still keep doing this channel and talk about that. That's what this channel is. It's the Living Freed channel. It is not Living Freed Trucking. And why do I say that? Well, because, and I'm kind of sad to say this, but my driving career is getting close to an end. Now, it ain't going to be the next month. It ain't going to be, before the end of the year, more than likely. It'll probably be within the next 12 to 18 months at the most. But another year or so is about how long I will actually be driving this truck. After a year goes by, I really doubt it that I will be actively driving all the time. I'll keep my CDL and everything, but once I get to about 8 trucks, which, at the pace we're going, this fleet is going, I'm currently at 6 trucks with my fleet, but once I get to 7 and 8, it is going to no longer make sense, not only financially, but, it's not going to benefit the operation of the fleet over the long run by me being a driver and running the fleet. It's already getting hard now to do that with 6 trucks. I mean, I still drive 1 truck and have 5 other drivers, but, anything past, I would say I could probably still drive with me driving and 7 other drivers, another 2 drivers, but it would get harder and harder. And for those of you that are truck drivers that watch me, which is a lot of you, y'all know that trucking, just the job itself, is 11 to 14 hours a day. And, on top of that, I'm dealing with managing the drivers, doing payroll, doing a lot of back office stuff, behind the scenes stuff, operating this fleet that, with more and more people comes more and more workload. And again, it's just becoming to where it's like, hey, it's not even that beneficial financially for me to continue to drive and, and do what I got to do on the back end. So look, like I said, I can do it right now, the way it is now. I can manage it, but it's getting harder and harder. And I can see where if I add another 2 trucks next year, more than likely, I'm not going to be able to continue to be driving full-time and operating the fleet. So what am I getting at? I just want to let y'all know that look, I'm probably going to be driving another year, but I would say after another year, man, I'm probably not going to be driving actively. And when I say actively, I mean like, full time. I may have to drive a little bit, like if somebody quits and, I need to drive that truck for a week or 2 to find a new driver or whatever. If that ever happens, then maybe I'll drive like that. But as far as me, like, being a full-time truck driver, that more than likely is going to be done in a year. And that kind of saddens me to say that, to be honest with you. It really does, because I have enjoyed my trucking career, and I'll get into that now. And at the end, I'll tell you what's going to come on this YouTube channel. So I hope you stay tuned till the end, especially if you're a follower of mine, because I want to let you know where this is going. And it's good things. It's just my growth, man. Honestly, it's not bad. It's not, to me, it's not, it's bittersweet. And how is it bitter? Well, I enjoy driving a truck. I've been driving for 7 years. I enjoy the fact that being a truck driver is not like other jobs. It's not like clocking in, clocking out, being in a warehouse all day or sitting in an office, and you don't get to travel, you don't get to go outside a whole lot. Like, I enjoy the adventure of trucking. That's what drew me to it. I always enjoyed road trips as a kid, and trucking is nothing but a road trip every day, especially if you're doing over-the-road trucking. So I enjoyed, the fact that not every day is the same in trucking. I enjoyed the adventure of being in this state one day and that state the next day, and just seeing the different terrain too. We live in such a beautiful country, and getting to experience seeing things that most people will never see, because they don't get to leave their zip code very often. They got to pay a lot of money to travel to see what we get to see as truck drivers. And I've just been so blessed to see this beautiful country, and I've enjoyed every minute of that. And look, there has been some downsides. Like, don't get me wrong, the first 4.5, 5 years of driving, I was away from my wife a lot, and that was hard for us, but we knew why we were doing it. We knew we were making a sacrifice to get to the point where I'm at now, where I'm getting closer and closer to being able to thrive in trucking but not be in the truck. And that's been our goal all along. My goal when I came into trucking was to save up, become an owner-op, build a fleet, and eventually get out of that truck and run that fleet and grow a business. That's been my goal all along. And it's taken almost over 7 years to get here, but it'll probably be about 8 by the time I'm actually out of the truck. But it's been a lot of sacrifice, a lot of time away from family and friends, and my wife, and but I've enjoyed it too. I've found a way to make it worth it, even with being away. One, I had goals, right? I had goals as to what I was trying to achieve. And then 2, whenever I was off, whenever I was home, we would always plan really fun stuff to do, and we would always do that when I was gone, is plan things to look forward to when I'm home, to enjoy, basically, whenever I'm home, and look forward to. That really helped a lot with the being away. But ever since I had my son a few years ago, he's 3 now, the first year was kind of the same for me, leaving, because whenever a child's like one till they're about 1.5, they don't really remember that you're gone. They don't really know what's going on. But ever since he turned about 2, and the last year and a half, it's gotten harder and harder to leave, right? And so there is that aspect. It's gotten harder and harder to leave, and that's a big reason why I grew this business to the point where it's at, and I plan to grow it even bigger, because I know that hey, at some point you need to get out of that truck so that you can be with your son all the time. And and we actually do have another child on the way, and so I do have one more coming. And it's just something that I knew I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted to grow a business and start a family and be there for my family. And that's basically what is happening. But that's been the only cons, really, is just being away. And that is a con for a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of you watching this are single, or you're you're married, but your wife can go with you or your girlfriend can go with you. And my wife did. The first year I drove, she went with me for a year out on the road that first year. And, my son and my wife actually got to go with me last summer for about 4 or 5 months. And that was an experience of a lifetime for my son. And, my wife enjoyed it too. So, they've gotten to experience it. But for the most part, I've been gone for 7 years, like I said. And I may be ranting, but, the point of this video is to talk about my experience. But look, as a driver, just purely as a driver, I've enjoyed it. Trucking is fun to me. It's an adventure. I've gotten to see this beautiful country, and I do not regret at all becoming a truck driver. It's allowed me to make enough money to, pay my bills, of course, and live, but also save and invest a ton of money and get to the point where I'm at, where I own 6 trucks. They're all paid off, and no matter what you fools believe about my situation, that is what it is. And, I worked my butt off to get here. And you can do the same. If you're looking at trucking as a long-term career, you can do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter what you want to do. This is a side note, but it doesn't matter what you want to do. You're going to have to sacrifice to have success, to have freedom. Freedom ain't free, as they say. And you are going to have to sacrifice to have that and attain that and sustain that. But look, moral of the story, like I said, I still wish I could drive, man. I wish I could add, 3 more trucks and keep driving. But, for me to get to the next level in this business, I've really got to become a businessman instead of a businessman and a trucker. It's really hard to get to that next level being on the road as a full-time driver and running the fleet. I mean, I can still do what I'm doing and do fine, but I want to grow far past where I'm at. And in order to do that, I've got to get out of this truck and, make connections and, really put in the work on the back end to get to where I want to go. And so, like I said, for the long-term, goal and, vision that I have, it's getting more and more to the point where, it doesn't make sense for me to be, in the truck full time, long story short. So what's going to happen to this channel? Look, to end, being a truck driver, for those of you that still, watch me because, you've watched me from the beginning. Look, I've enjoyed every bit of trucking, man. Yes, it's been hard being away from my wife and, my son the last couple of years, but that, I think that's self-explanatory. Like, it's never easy being away from the people you love. That is going to be a sacrifice you make, but it is worth it. If you set goals and you have a reason for why you're out here, you will not regret it. You will regret it if you come out here and you don't set goals and you aren't achieving anything and all you're doing is just driving and blowing your money and not getting ahead with it. Of course, trucking's going to suck after you've seen everything, after you've experienced, every state and, experienced the trucker lifestyle. After that, you've got to have a purpose. And that's why I always tell y'all, you need to have a plan for your career and for your money. You do. And if you have that, trucking's going to be worth it. And a lot of you, look, y'all can live this lifestyle forever. You can be with your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and live out here and stack up money. And that's great. That's great. And I wish I could continue to do that. But like I said, I'm in a different position now than when I was just a driver. A lot has changed with my life in the last, I would say even the last, pretty much since February. Ever since I bought that second truck and hired the first driver, everything started to change after that. When I was just a one truck owner operator, I was still just a driver at that point. But ever since I grew a fleet and got to this point, like I said, it's time to start changing my strategy. And it is going to be hard. It is. Trust me, man. I'm used to being a trucker full time. I'm used to it. I don't hate the lifestyle at all. I really enjoy everything about being a truck driver. I really do. But like I said, it's necessary. So, what's going to happen with this channel? Well, one, I want to be real clear. There's a reason why, like I said, that this is not called the Living Freed Trucking channel. This is called the Living Freed channel. This channel has always been about what I'm doing at the time and my journey through life, period. All I'm doing is just documenting my journey through life. And yeah, I've pretty much been a trucking channel up to this point because that's been my life and that's what I've talked about. But as I grow, I'm going to talk about different things, and hopefully y'all come along for the ride. But at some point, my goal with this channel is to be more broad than just talking about trucking. I would like to discuss business topics that are broad, that other business people can watch. I would like to discuss more financial topics, and I do a little bit of that now, but I talk about it from the perspective as if you were a truck driver. I want to just do broader business and finance content at some point. And why is that? Well, because my goal is to be a business owner and an investor. That's been my goal, is to become a full-time investor and business person. And that's what I've been working towards over the last 7 years. And I'm getting closer and closer to that goal. And with that, I will want to not only grow, in like running my business and in my investments and everything, but the content, I want that to grow as well. And I'm just letting y'all know that so that you're not shocked that slowly but surely it starts to change. Now, look, I'm going to be driving for another year, like I said, and I'm going to talk about trucking while I'm still driving. I'm still going to talk about trucking, but again, I'm going to, when I get out of the truck, that's where the amount I post is going to change. I plan on, when I'm out of this truck, I'm going to post Monday through Friday, and I'm going to do various different topics, like I said, and it's going to be a lot more broad. That's my goal, and I may lose some of you as followers, but it's necessary for my growth, and it's necessary too for what I enjoy to put out. And I hope none of y'all leave. I hope you stick around for it. But ultimately, that is coming. And but look, I got another year in this truck. I will be driving for another year, but like I said, it's coming. And I just wanted to talk about this because, every business owner, I think, reaches that point where they got to make a decision. Like, am I better off working in the business or working on the business? And it's very hard to give up that security of working in it. I have that security right now of driving this truck, so I don't have to pay someone to drive it. I have that security of, okay, if all the other trucks are losing money that week, I still make money on this one because I don't have to pay a driver. I am giving up some security, but in the long run, like I said, I'm walking over nickels or walking over dollar bills to pick up nickels. And that's where I'm almost there. Not yet. Like I said, I'm not quite there yet with it, but it's getting close. It's definitely getting close. And anytime I deal with, like right now, my truck's in the shop, and over the last few days, man, it's calls all day, every day, dealing with drivers, dealing with, repairs on other trucks, dealing with, the CPA, dealing with all the different things that are involved in running a fleet. It's like, man, I'd be better served, like, being home, running this 100%. So I know this is a long-winded rant video, but I did want to talk about it. I did want to open up and talk about my situation, what's coming, and like I said, I hope none of y'all leave whenever I begin to broaden the content 100%. But it is going to be necessary. It is going to be necessary for my growth all the way around. 100%. So that's my video for today. Any of you thinking about becoming truck drivers, look, I've enjoyed it. There's been some cons, but for the most part, I have totally enjoyed it. I will forever thank trucking, being a truck driver, for where I'm at. And if it wasn't for this job, then I wouldn't be where I'm at 100%. So that's my video for today. God bless. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and peace out.